It feels like it was only 2 days ago that I asked you guys for controversial Dead by Daylight opinions. Because it was 2 days ago that I asked you for controversial Dead by Daylight opinions. In this video, I'm going to be responding to your controversial Dead by Daylight opinions. If you disagree with anything you hear in this video, we'll start a long-winded Twitter discussion about it, and that will be the most productive way of reaching a conclusion. Number 1, Thistriz says, Clown is OP. I don't think this is too controversial. I think a lot of people feel this way about Clown, but at the same time, we're able to acknowledge that actually he's pretty freaking weak. And I think the reason behind this is that the point of Clown is that he breaks down loops and he kind of prevents you from looping in the regular way. So the whole premise of Dead by Daylight, it's cat and mouse, right? The cat is the killer. The killer is stronger than the survivor because the killer can kill you. Survivors can't kill killers yet. So you're presented with a set of tools by which to overcome this challenge. The Clown stops you from being able to use those, and unless you get really good with dealing with his gas, it's tough to overcome. It's really hard to overcome. So I disagree with you. I think Clown's pretty freaking weak, but I can completely understand why people feel as if Clown is actually OP. Number 2, the man who speaks in clams. How does that work? Do like the clams speak for you? Or? My opinion, all bad perks need small buffs, and all meta/run by over 65% of player perks should receive small nerfs. I completely agree with this, actually. The fact of the matter is that there's about 10 perks that you see in every single game. Maybe that shouldn't be the case. I'd love to see a system whereby you could perhaps have like a sub perk and a main perk sort of thing. So you can pick, say, 3 main perks and then like 2 sub perks, and a sub perk would be something like Hope, where it has an advantage but only in a very specific situation. Stuff that just boosts stats like bossly knowledge, that kind of thing. I think that'd really work if you could have a couple of those and they don't necessarily detract from the other perks that you can take into a game. I think that would work really, really well. I don't know. That's a really tricky one because if you get it wrong, you completely throw off the balance of the game. I posted this really stupid tweet where I said, killers have to learn and deal with 16 perks. Survivors only have to deal with 4. Now, that is true, but survivor perks are built around the fact that they might be 4 times in the trial, and killer perks are built in mind, balanced in mind, created in mind that you're only going to have 4 of them as killer, and you're going to be going up against 4 survivors with 16 perks between them. I don't know. If you could do it in a way that wouldn't completely throw off the game's balance, I think that would work really, really well. Number 3, Deathzack says, here's an unpopular opinion. Maya's add-ons are overpowered and should be changed, or Tinkerer is far too good and should be nerfed. Does it have to be either or? Maya's add-ons basically allow you to completely decimate a team with very little skill. Tombstone is super dumb. Mirrors are cool. The mirrors are fine. I'll allow the mirrors, but Tombstone is dumb. Infinite T3 is also dumb, but I guess it does take quite a lot to get up to it, but that can still go on there. So those are 2 negative points towards Maya's add-ons. Tinkerer, on the other hand, is a very, very strong perk, but I don't think it's too strong. 80% is 80%, right? Tinkerer DBD. 70% is not a lot of gen time left. In a lot of cases, when Tinkerer goes off, you're probably going to struggle getting over to that gen. So I don't particularly mind Tinkerer, personally. I don't think it's too strong. It just stresses me out more than anything. It's a must-have on certain killers, though. Tinker and Pop is a beautiful combo if you can play it right. 4, Annika Braun says, opinion piece, I don't actually think Noed is as stupidly unbalanced as some people say it is. I don't hate Noed. I think Noed is absolutely fine. 100%. I'm a survivor, mate. I think Noed is completely fine. If I die to Noed, it's because me and my team haven't been completing totems. Do the bones. Rub the bones. Plus, because people usually do rub the bones when you're at high ranks, people don't really take it at red ranks. You really just don't see it very often at red ranks. I think Noed is fine. Number 5, Son of. Keys are fine. I like playing against them. The problem with keys that I have is that when you escape via the hatch because of a key, it's very usually not satisfying for you as a survivor or as a killer. The exception is if you're the last person alive and you're in a chase, or maybe they've already closed the hatch and they find you and you get a key and then you're in a chase. Most of the time, you're just playing normally and then, oh, I guess the game is over now. I should have played better. Or, that was fun. I took an item, or I got an item out of a chest, so I win. Great. I think that's the issue with keys. If you can fix that without totally removing the hatch, then great. That would be a great solution, but I disagree with that. I think generally speaking, I don't like keys. I'm going to stop counting because there's a lot to get through here and I'm going to lose track of the number. GD Delta 1 Gamers says, Spirit has more depth than Nurse. Reading scratch marks, breathing footsteps, grass movement versus TP through walls at people, reading people. More things to master with Spirit than with Nurse. Play both and found using Spirit more depthful. If If you mess up a phase as Spirit, then there's basically no punishment. If you mess up a blink as Nurse, then very often the survivors are just going to get all the way away, and you have to wait a good amount of time before you're actually able to use your ability again. I completely disagree with that, because reading scratch marks, just look at the ground. Breathing, you just listen. Footsteps, grass movement, with the exception of grass movement there, all of that is also stuff you have to do with Spirit, except you don't get that advantage of actually being able to plan exactly when you're going to come out of the blink. I don't think Spirit has any counterplay, and I don't think Spirit has any depth, but I respect your opinion if you think that it does. Jacob says, rapid crouching should have a cooldown. I agree. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, right? It's useful to say thank you, but other than that, it's exclusively used to be toxic, which is shitty. Hey, if you teabag at the exit gates, stop doing that. It's a really shitty thing to do, and all you're doing is signaling your small PP. Stop it. Damus X says, here's my honest opinion. Bubba isn't thick enough. I agree. Hashtag make Bubba thick again. Ryan Ben Hamau says, matchmaking is bad in this game. Yeah. I think it's less to do with matchmaking and more to do with player counts. When I'm playing in the morning, I'll often be put with rank 9 killers. If I play killer in the evening, despite being a rank 5 killer myself, I'll be put with rank 15 to 20 survivors. I think it's just about who's playing at that time and what are they doing. I think all the higher rank players usually play between sort of 3 p.m. and sort of 6 p.m. British time, and if you play outside of that time, matchmaking is going to be a problem. I think ranks don't really account for enough as well. That's another big problem in Dead by Daylight, is that the ranking system is all over the place. You can be rank 1 just because you've played enough of the game. Now, I don't agree that it takes 0 skill to get to rank 1. You're not going to get to rank 1 if you're not very good at the game. You need to have a baseline level of skill, but it's more about how much you've played than how good you are at the game. Vortex Ventami says, tunneling at 1 gen with 4 survivors alive is okay. And Leonardo says it's okay even at 5 gen. Yeah. Tunneling and camping, I get ridiculously frustrated by it when I'm playing Survivor. But at the end of the day, it's a viable strategy. Here's how to counter both tunneling and camping. If a killer is tunneling, do gens. If a killer is camping, do gens. A Cup of Noodles says, please stop cleansing against plague ransoms. I should be in randoms there. I disagree. I think that cleansing immediately against plague usually actually works really well and makes the plague feel a little bit overwhelmed. If you cleanse from every single well and they're all taken up, she gets that corrupt at a time that might not be convenient for her. Plus, it means that you aren't injured for the entire game, and even if you do end up getting sick again, there's still an amount of time before you get injured and broken. I usually cleanse immediately against plague, and I think that a lot more people should, but be careful with it. I see so many people cleanse and then go back onto the gen that made them sick in the first place. Be aware of what is sick and what isn't sick. Come on. Thick Steak says Legion needs a full rework. So I think Legion is considered to be one of the weakest killers in the game. And yeah, I agree. I don't think he needs a full rework, but I definitely think he needs some tuning to make his power a lot stronger. Maybe if he had more time to be in Feral Frenzy, maybe if it took longer to mend. I mean, they've already made it shorter before you go down from mending. I don't know how to do it. This is one of the killers where I haven't played him enough or played against him enough to really have a clear idea of what I'd do to change it. But Dennis Ivescu says, I think Freddy is really fun. Good on you, mate. I'm sick of people in the gaming community or just in gaming to say, oh, you can't play that character. That's cheesy. That's bad. Guess what? You can do whatever you want. If you enjoy playing a certain character or you enjoy playing against a certain character, that's fine. Even if other people around you disagree or call you cheap. More power to you, mate. More power to you. XXYY says, y'all care too much about a niche-ass game. This is an interesting view that I've seen come up a few times. Oh, why do you discuss Dead by Daylight endlessly? It's just a game, bro. Who cares? Even on stream, we'll be deep in a discussion or there'll be a heated disagreement and we'll just be chatting about it and someone will say, all right, chill out. It's just a game. When it comes to ad hominem throwing insults around, yeah, it's just a game. Cut that shit out. Don't do that. But if you want to talk deeply about the mechanics of a game that you're immersed in, like totally immersed in, this is one of those games where you can be totally immersed in it, just like any movie or franchise or TV show, it's 100% okay to talk at length about aspects of that game or that piece of media. And if anyone says otherwise because they feel some sort of secondhand embarrassment, really they're forcing that on themselves. If you like a piece of media and someone tells you it's cringe to talk about it the way you do, that person isn't your friend. Stop talking to that person if you're able to, because honestly, like things you like, there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. You just like things. Just be nice to each other. Just everyone be lovely to each other. And to close off, we have this message from Chipstar878. Here are my controversial opinions. Georgina is great, is not great. Disagree. GG is an absolute queen. Pebsie has no hair. It's just a wig. I mean, maybe. I don't know. The Second Wind is an S tier perk. Second Wind is better than people say. I wouldn't say it's S tier though. I think all of Steve's perks are kind of underrated, to be honest. And finally, Pebsie makes good content. Incorrect. Wrong. Changed my mind. Just did. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And a big shout out to these people. Lovely, lovely people. I haven't read their names out for a little while, sorry, but these people are lovely. I love all of them a lot. Goodbye. Take my shirt off. I can take my shirt off. You'd be none the wiser. That's the benefit of an out of focus stream. If I didn't want to do a face cam, I could just do this. What happens if we, okay. That's perfect, man. That's perfect.